to understand that there are many people who are feeling the loss. You don't want people to feel pain, but it made me feel proud. And I want to read you the very first message on June 22nd that appeared on the Hawthorne Funeral Home guest book, because it was such a wonderful summary, and it's very brief. I'm glad and honored for being on his mailing list, meaning Ardeshir's, because you all know we worked in the movement and it was the American-Iranian Friendship Committee's mailing list. I admired and had much affection for him for his contribution towards justice and humanity. What impressed me most was his sincerity, his sense of ethics, and his warmth. My deepest condolences to his family, especially Eleanor, whom I regard as a true soulmate for him. I'm glad to see that his wonderful work will be continued by Eleanor. May he rest in peace. Amen. And that was Parviz Mirfagi. And I got another one. And Massey, are you here, sweetheart? There you are. Hi, darling. This was from Massey. And this was a beautiful thing, and I really loved it. And I hope I'm not stealing what you want to say, Massey, but you wrote this. Dear Ellie, I just heard of the shocking and untimely death of Ardeshir. I'm shocked. I don't know what to say. I had no clue and had been wondering how come I've not heard anything from Ardeshir. Please accept my condolence. We all loved him. I will never forget his passionate love for Iran and for the anti-war movement. I'll never forget our times together in your home, sitting around the kitchen table and discussing the political events. I'm so sad. I know how difficult this is. I'm lost for words, and I will be there on Friday, and here she is, and I'm glad. And that's Massey. Then I also, Marjan, yours tore into my heart. My beloved Ardeshir, dearest Ellie, accept my condolences. I'm very sad. I can still hear his passionate speeches and be reminded of his compassion, his integrity, and his determination for a better and just world. I feel a great loss, but how blessed to have known him. You are a special and loving couple. It is our privilege to be there to honor his life, his writings, and his love. I saw you last in Tehran, which is where we did go for some of our work. Hi, Jay. I'm so happy to see you. Hi, Ahmed. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to look at each beautiful face here and address you each personally. I've been absent from your lives in these past years. I love you. God give you patience. We are here for you. Thank you. And may Ardeshir's soul rest in peace. He will remain alive, which I like, because that means that all of us are going to continue working for a better world. And he'll be loved in our hearts. This one, I don't even know who this person is, and I don't think my husband, I'm not sure if he met him. No, I'm serious, because Ardeshir's writings, and that's what Ben, thank you, Ben, for saying, he was a true internationalist. And Ardeshir's writings impacted around the world. And I will share with you that he was also interviewed on radio and television, mainly in Iran, both in Iranian broadcasts when we were in Tehran, and also in New York with Harold Channer. Harold Channer has a public TV station. And he said, to this day, Harold, anybody, when I'm around, he goes, there were 2,858 hits, and I couldn't believe it, on your husband and your interview that day. And it was at the height when there was so much media saying we're going to bomb Iran. And the fact that Ardeshir came out with a clear, hello Sarah, welcome, with a clear, clarion statement that no, Iran will not be bombed, and there's many people who will stand up for Iran's sovereignty and integrity and its right. And so he wrote, Dear Ellie, accept my sincere condolences. And this is, I just want you to know also, this is very Persian. What a loss for humanity. May each and every word that he whispered, every step that he took in this world, be an inspiration to thousands of youth all over the world. I pray for your patience and endurance in taking in such a great loss. May we continue his path and keep his memories eternal. So that was from Hamid Rabai. And the last one is just, my dearest Eleanor, oh no, I can't believe it. Not him. He was brilliant. He enjoyed life. He was sure and clear. His quality of life was unsurpassed. He was persistent and on a clear path. I loved his analysis, deep, meaningful, and concert. He was lucky to have you, and you were lucky for a long time to be with him and to work with him. We all miss him. I love you, Ellie. And it's an email, and I'm not sure who it is. But I think I know. It's definitely a Persian. Okay, I just want to briefly, now that I've done that, but Ben, do I have just a minute more? Ben is used to organizing, and he's used to telling people, okay, it's time to move along. All of you didn't know about Ardeshir's illness because he asked me not to inform people how sick he was. It hurt me, it was hard, because I needed to share with others. I wanted them to know why he wasn't still writing. And even though when Sister Megan Rice, who was arrested and placed in jail, she's a transformed plowshares. She's a nun that has had a revolutionary love for humanity, and she was been opposed to nuclear weapons and nuclear power and nuclear enrichment, and she broke into the Tennessee facility in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And what did she do? Well, she did a horrible thing. She splashed human blood on the wall. She held up a banner saying, transform those weapons into peaceful and useful things for humanity, and she read from the Bible. What a big sin. They were going to give her 10 years. They gave her 2 years. She's 83, just so you know. And she crawled under the fence. And it was a big scandal because how could an 88-year-old break into the most secure facility of the United States of America? And I happened to, she called me because she read Ardeshir's writings, and she said, is this Eleanor with American-Iranian Friendship Committee? And I said, yes. And she said, this is Sister Megan Rice. Anyway, we communicated. I wrote to her when she was in jail. And the day that Ardeshir and I learned that they had released her early, 2 years, we were both very joyful. Ardeshir was still conscious. He hadn't had enough medication. And he started to dictate to me a little message to send to her. And even in that last time, Ben, when he was so weak, and he couldn't write. I mean, his hands were shaking. And yet, his mind was still so brilliant. Ardeshir said, he said something about the nations that you have made contributions and your struggle. He encapsulated like nobody else could. And I have the paper somewhere in my house, and at some point, it'll probably be up online, either on Facebook or on American-Iranian Friendship Committee. The other thing that I want to say is my daughter and my son-in-law. My daughter, Sheila, is living in California. She's finishing a PhD in clinical psych, or PsyD, and Brian is teaching at a lovely place in Mission Viejo for children that have special needs, and they need special people. And he's a special person. Sheila coming here was so helpful to me because at the end of the hospice, where I had my husband at home, and I said, I'm sorry, I won't send him to a hospital. Even though at one time he was so in pain, he couldn't breathe, and he said, please, Ellie, call 911. And it was horribly painful for me to say, Ardeshir, darling, if I call 911, they'll take you to a facility, you'll have tubes down your throat, they'll give you intravenous, I want you with us because we love you and we'll take the best care of you. And this daughter, even when I had to give the extra morphine, which everyone realizes it helps a person who's having trouble breathing not to feel the pain with every breath. And yet it was still very hard for me. And Sheila was diligent, and looking at me. And every time she'd walk in the room with, the material in the
syringe.
In the syringe, yeah, she would smile and she would say, "Hi, Daddy. It's me, Sheila. I'm just going to give you a little bit morphine so you'll feel better." And of course, he probably heard us. and also my Persian friends who came the last night, Kazem and Marjan and Farid and Ali. I wanted Ardeshir to pass out of this world hearing his native language. I speak a little tiny bit of it in conversation, but I knew that Ardeshir's soul would rest better if he heard a Farsi person. And of course Kazem came and they saw at that time Ardeshir was not awake. He was in a deep sleep, coma, whatever you want to call it, but they say people can hear. And when each one of them bent over Ardeshir, and I said, please speak slowly but loudly into his ear. And I swear to you, he left in 20 minutes, less than 15 minutes after they left, and they gave him their love and their condolences, and they spoke in Persian. And then Ardeshir's face got very peaceful because it was always like this, because it hurts. If you can't breathe, you go like that. And then we were there, and he just breathed his last breath, which the very last one was a little bit of a roar. It was a strong, like the way Ardeshir was. Ardeshir was a strong human being, like no other that I know. And he's very honored that you're all here today. Okay? Thank you.